All right, what's going on, everybody? We are back. Jesse, what's up? How you doing, brother?
What's up, bro?
How's
Miss
it
you.
going?
Great.
So, a lot of people have been
Well,
talking. A lot of people
I'm
have been
sorry.
talking about this, and there's a lot of news going on about Mike Tyson coming back, and now Evander Holyfield said he's coming back, and both of these guys have um, mentioned that they would be interested in fighting each other for a third time.
I would
So
love.
a lot of people are talking about this topic now. This is a kind of getting some steam. A lot of websites are writing articles about it. Even Mauricio Suleiman today. Let me read you some quotes from Mauricio Suleiman today because he was asked if Mike Tyson comes back, would he be against ranking him in the WBC? So look
Who
look
who
look look,
who is this?
look what Mauricio Suleiman said. Mauricio Suleiman is the president of the WBC.
Okay.
So let's read some of these quotes from Suleiman because he's taken this thing real serious. He said, Mike Tyson was the youngest boxer to win a world championship. Said maybe he will be the oldest. He's a tremendous, legendary fighter. He's an icon for the sport, an icon for the WBC. He can knock anyone out with one punch at any time. So, of course, we will support him. I don't like to speculate. This is a topic. O'Brien's on here. Let me jump in. Let him jump in here. He said, this is a topic we are all entertained by. An exhibition is one thing. An exhibition is one thing, he said, but he has to be licensed and he has to go through a process. I'm not going to kill the dream. I'm going to be very supportive of Mike Tyson. He deserves it. If the dream is to say I will be ranked, I am saying yes, we will rank him. So then he goes, every world champion has a provision that he can come back, like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was inactive. But Tyson's case is different. He's been away many years. But I am in full support of Mike Tyson. I believe this will bring entertainment, and he's doing it for charity. He wants to serve the world in this difficult moment. Iron Mike hasn't fought in a professional boxing match since he suffered back-to-back defeats to Danny Williams and Kevin McBride in 2004 and 2005, respectively. He said, we need to first understand what it is. I think it's an exhibition. The safety has to be top priority, he said. He said, it's great to see athletes promoting the sport. Mike Tyson has had a very complicated life in boxing. Now to see him losing weight, active, healthy is great, and we have to support him, but we have to see if it's a real fight. I'm hearing that it's an exhibition, and we are fully behind him. So Suleiman's saying that if he ends up resuming his regular boxing career and goes beyond an exhibition, then he wouldn't be against ranking him. What do you guys think of that? And how crazy is that?
I love this fight. I just spoke to a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Yo, if this fight happens, and like we're gonna watch it." I think this is a $1 billion fight if it does happen. Trilogy. I asked my dad about it. My dad's even interested in watching it. I understand it's two washed up people, but it's two of the greatest, and who beat two at this point. Um, I I like Tyson to win this one, but honestly, it would be poetic justice if Evander Holyfield wins again. I don't know. What do you think, Bry?
Man, I've been listening, and it sounds like a lot of people is really starting to buy into if them two fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Evander, he's saying he training, Mike Tyson training. It got me interested, you know what I'm saying? So the interest is definitely there, it's definitely there, but it's just mixed emotions on where do they go from there if they do fight, either one, you know. Because what Suleiman saying is he's saying that Mike Tyson, if he wins, they're gonna put him in the rankings or what?
No, he's saying that if he decides to box for real and not just in exhibitions, if he fights in legitimate fights, if he
Mm-hmm.
officially comes back and not just exhibitions, then he said he
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be against ranking him. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
This kind of
Okay.
reminds me of like Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3. Two guys who were way past their prime. But people were talking about it. You know, it was getting mainstream news, and people were like interested in that fight. It didn't do a lot of pay-per-view buys per se, but it was it was still in the news. People were talking about it, and people were still interested in it. This thing would, I think, eclipse that. Mike Tyson is like, everyone knows Mike Tyson. He's a worldwide attraction. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
So whether or not people are taking it serious or not, sometimes people don't take things serious. Sometimes people say, well, this shouldn't happen, that or that shouldn't happen. But they still buy it anyways because curiosity kills the cat every time. You know, same thing with Mayweather and McGregor. Everyone was laughing at that. That was a sideshow. But the thing did 4.4 pay-per-view buys, 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. So as much as people will say, I don't want to see it. I'm worried about Mike Tyson. I'm worried about Evander Holyfield. People will still buy it because of the curiosity factor and because of the name that both these guys have. Go ahead, Jesse.
Me and Brian both said we'll watch it.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
definitely.
I'm going to Brian's house to watch it. Brian, am I still invited?
Hey, slide through. Hey, so what? If it's an exhibition, that means what is it going to be, like a 4-rounder?
And no, an exhibition means exhibition. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It'll probably be a 4-rounder.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought that Mike Tyson was saying that's what he's going for, is a 4-rounder.
No, exhibition means it just doesn't count on the record.
No,
But
most of the time, exhibitions aren't usually 12 rounds. They're usually like 4 rounds. Sometimes they can be 10.
They could go 10.
Sometimes they can be 10, but Mike Tyson's not going to jump right into a 10-round fight after a friggin' 15-year layoff.
Okay. So let's say this. Let's say Mike Tyson and Evander do a 4-rounder, right? Just a little quick one. I'm putting my money on Mike Tyson, man. What's up? I'm putting my money on Mike Tyson, man.
Just to go against you, I'm putting my money on Evander.
For sure. I got my money on Iron Mike, man. I think maybe these guys just want to get it out their system, you know, make some money off of it, give them a reason to be motivated to do something. You know, I'll support it.
Well, I let me ask you guys this, if I can. Does Evander beat prime Mike Tyson? And I really think he may have. Evander in his prime.
So what you're saying is he wasn't in his prime when he fought him.
No, Tyson just went to prison after 4 or 5 years.
Here's a good question. When was Mike Tyson in his prime? That's a good question there. When
Trevor Burbank. That's Mike Tyson in his prime.
This is the problem when people talk about Mike Tyson. The guy has had the shortest prime of any fighter I've ever seen in my life. The guy won the title in '86, and then in 1990, now in fairness to him, he went to jail, and there was time taken out of his career. He was robbed of years off of his career. We know that. But even after the Douglas fight, people were saying, "Oh, you know, Mike Tyson is not the same Mike Tyson ever since Kevin Rooney left and Customato died and all this and that." Right. So even then, people were saying that wasn't the real Mike Tyson. That's not the same Mike Tyson. He's starting to go on a downward swing, right? So you mean to tell me the guy only had a 4-year prime when everyone else has like 10, 12-year primes? It's crazy, like how the rules have changed when it comes to Mike Tyson. Because Evander Holyfield wasn't in his prime either. Lennox Lewis wasn't in his prime either when both of those fighters beat Mike Tyson. So we have to be fair when we say primes. Like we have to be we can't have double standards. We have to be consistent is the word I was looking for. We have to be consistent.
Me and Brian had this conversation before. And I say, B, what's the biggest Mike Tyson loss that you like that you were upset about?
Well, I was never really emotionally attached to Mike Tyson. Like when Sugar Ray Leonard lost, it bothered me because I liked I'm very biased towards Sugar Ray Leonard. He's my favorite fighter. But with that being said, when Sugar Ray Leonard had that draw with Tommy Hearns in the second fight, I knew he lost the fight. It was a bad decision to have that fight be a draw. I thought it was a bad decision.
You fucked up my question though. But okay.
Oh, well, let me help you out. Let me help you out. What was his worst loss? In other words?
Yeah.
Well, when he lost that fight to Danny Williams and Kevin McBride, those are two fighters he never should have lost to.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I said the Kevin McBride fight because the post-fight interview also saying I don't belong in this ring no more.
Yeah,
that broke my that. That was a nail in the coffin. So that it was even more than the Buster Douglas. It was more than a Lennox Lewis. Like I was like, wow, this is the fight that put the nail in the coffin. The Kevin McBride fight.
No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Brian, you look like a thumbnail over there, bro.
What's up? But
expand your picture, bro. Or you can't right now.
Yeah, I can right now. Got these kids over here. But man, the most heartbreaking loss to me was the Lennox Lewis loss, the loss that led up to them losses, because I knew it right then and there. It's time to give it up, and that was a long time ago, man. That's one thing I'm like, how old is Lennox? Is Evander right now? How old is Evander Holyfield?
I can Google it for us if you want me to.
I think he's in his mid-50s.
I mean,
Mike Tyson's
dang.
50. Mike Tyson's 53. I think Evander Holyfield's 55. Let me double check.
I mean,
Hold on.
I mean, like,
no,
look,
Evander Holyfield is 57.
Wow. Damn.
Mike
Okay,
Tyson's
so
53. So
okay, so now, hold on, wait, hold on, time out. Hey,
because I wanted to ask you a question too, and remind me to go back to it. Go ahead.
Okay, now look, man. Now this is the reality of the whole situation. Man, they up there, man. That's really up there. I mean, Mike Tyson is almost my mama age,
Uh-oh.
Okay. Hello. All right. He went quiet real quick. The question I wanted to ask him is, can you, he was a boxer. I'm not a boxer. Beeb, you step in the ring, right, a couple times. You spar.
Yeah.
Can you forgive somebody that bites your ear off?
He said he did, but you have to question that. You have to question that. Did he really forgive him? Does he want But see,
I'm asking you. If me and you get in a street brawl,
no, I can't forgive you for that. No, I can't forgive you for that. Nope. I try not to hold grudges, but when certain things, man, you just can't let slide under the rug.
But don't it seem like as soon as Mike Tyson said he was starting his training, Evander just who started the videos first, Mike Tyson or
Mike
Evander?
Tyson? Mike Tyson started it first.
No. Hold on. That's not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is.
Okay, no. Yes, it is.
It seemed like somebody chasing somebody, but let's see who.
Mike Tyson made his public workout known, and his desire to come back.
That is true, but let me speak for a second. Can I speak? Evander Holyfield did a Joe Rogan interview like a year ago, 2 years ago, saying that he wants to step back in the ring as an exhibition. Joe Rogan interviewed him, and he said that.
But Mike Tyson made it official first. That's what we're trying to get. To
Yeah,
the bottom
Tyson
of.
made it official. Yes.
First, yeah. Let's not nitpick here now. Let's not
Okay.
play the contrarian role for the sake of playing the contrarian.
I'm
Hey,
not.
but
I just remember watching the Joe Rogan podcast and seeing that.
Yeah, I could say that I would love to make $1 million one day, but that doesn't mean I'm going to make $1 million. That's something I would love to do. If you say you want to do something or you'd be interested in doing something, but you haven't actually done it yet, or you actually haven't made it official, or you haven't committed to it yet, then anyone could say anything. But Mike Tyson was the guy that actually showed us training footage and had said that I'm
commitment.
I'm ready to do this right now. He said.
And if you want to be completely honest, Tyson's going to get fucked up in that ring.
Hold on, wait. What? Hold on, wait. Tyson? Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Hey, but I want to say an honest, legit point though, because before I got interrupted by my kids and all that, like I was saying, these dudes is, it's cool, they in shape and everything, but these dudes is up there in age, they my mama age. Do you think, the question is, do you really think it's healthy for this to happen? It's entertaining, we interested, but do you think it's healthy?
Well, yeah, they go through a whole, I'm sorry, Beep, to cut you off. They go through a whole thing though. They go through physicals, they go through, the state has to prove it healthy, first of all.
Well, here's the thing.
But what you think, B?
Here's the thing. Everyone's going crazy right now, right? But in boxing, they even in the amateurs, they have what's called the masters, where they have like the older division and stuff, right? So if these guys, like you said, you made a good point. If they can pass the physical, number one, and number two, they probably have bigger gloves, probably have headgear on, right? If you're getting back in the ring and you're fighting someone who's on the same level as you, then that's not that bad. Unless you have, if they both pass the physical, right? And they show that there's nothing wrong with them, and they're going to actually fight each other and not fight younger guys. Like if Mike Tyson says I'm coming back like George Foreman did, but George Foreman was 40 when he came back. He wasn't 53. And George Foreman was 45 when he won the title, not 53. Now, Bernard Hopkins was 50 when he won the title. That's a different story. Like 49 or something, or 49 or 40 or 50-ish when he won the title at light heavyweight. But that's a different story. He remained active. But these guys are going to be fighting each other, and they're pretty much on the same level. You could argue that maybe Mike Tyson's at 53 is fresher than Evander Holyfield, who's 57. That's a concern, being 57. 53, that's a concern, but not as much as being 57. So these guys, again, they're fighting each other, and they're both pretty close to the same level. It's not like they're going in there and trying to take on the Young Bucks. If they were trying to take on the Young Bucks, then I would be more concerned about something like that.
Right.
So that's the thing.
Like I said, Brian, we could make this bet on air if you want.
Right. Hey, I'm in because I got my money on Tyson.
I'm going to take Tyson because I think
all the way.
Tyson still has more of his reflexes left than Evander Holyfield does,
and he's younger.
I'm taking Evander.
If you think about it, Mike Tyson might be closer to 50 and Evander might be closer to 60. So I'm just looking at the real of it.
Yeah.
So do we take points off if he bites his nose off?
Hopefully, I don't see that happening. Yeah, you killed it. But hey, ask them, hey, big, hey, what do they think in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Who do they got right now between Evander and Mike Tyson?
Let me see if they have a line. Let me see if there's odds for it. I'm just curious. Let me check my website, see if there's odds for it right now.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I'm curious to see if they got a line for it yet.
Right, and I just know every bet you make against me, you gonna lose, bro.
Okay.
Not
We'll
if you
see.
take, not if you're taking Golovkin over friggin'
I am doing that.
Canelo.
I am doing that.
I mean, at this point, who knows, man? Let's hope they don't have a damn heart attack. Shit, they up there, man. You
Yeah,
know, it's cool. It's a good event, but they up there. That's for
there's
So
sure.
no, there's no
hey,
line, there's no
you
line
guys
for
want
it
to hear
yet.
my joke? They didn't.
There's no line for it yet. Right now, there's no line for it.
Yeah, because it's not like anything official, but
Yeah, it's not
even though
official.
we see it's lurking, it's definitely lurking.
Gennady
You know,
Golovkin is a plus 200 against Saul Alvarez if that fight was to happen, and Deontay Wilder is a plus 210. So Tyson Fury is only a 2.5 to 1 favorite over Deontay Wilder. So these odds are close. Here's one thing I disagree with. Teofimo Lopez is a plus 250 against Vasyl Lomachenko. I think that's a 2 to 1. I think Teofimo Lopez is slightly devalued there, in my opinion.
Mike can make some money on him. Teofimo.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. What are you saying, Jess?
No, I said you guys want to hear my joke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody's wearing a mask. It's crazy because before all this, I used to wear a mask into a bank. No.
That was kind of random. But I get it. That was a little random. But yeah, man, I mean, this, like I said, a lot of people are talking about this fight. It's even both fighters, like before they were saying like, oh, maybe, but now they're kind of leading
They're
us to
starting
believe.
to get serious.
Yeah, they're starting to sound more convincing right now that both these guys want it. So
Yeah. Have you noticed too? It seemed like every time Tyson comes out with a video, Evander comes out with a video, he keep on. It's like they're almost like maybe Evander's trying to low key promote it, low key with his videos already because we talking about it, right?
yeah.
Oh, well,
We talking about it.
who was the better heavyweight in your opinion, Evander or
Holyfield.
Oh man, hey, oh man. Now we gotta. I gotta talk about it. Look, cause my boy, cause you know me, I was a Evander Holyfield fan. I fucks with Tyson, but unfortunately, my buddy, he always got to bring up Evander Holyfield was juicing. He say he was juicing. So, what you guys think? I mean, you guys think that got anything to do with they fight in the beginning? Him winning in the beginning, you think he was juicing around that time? That's what I meant to ask you guys.
no, I mean, I just hate that. I just hate that as an overall excuse. I really do. The Pacquiao Drew, I could give a fuck less. I really can.
Right.
Freaking.
Because sometimes people take that win away from what Evander did by saying, "Well, he was probably juicing." That's why I'm like, "What you guys think?"
Well, but this is my really opinion. I could give a fuck if somebody's juicing or not. If you get caught, you get caught. That's it. I swear to God. Because then what are we gonna do? We're gonna go back and take back everybody's records if they were. The only one that really bothers me in boxing is the Margarito Cotto Miguel Cotto situation. Margarito Miguel Cotto situation with the hand wraps. Because if you're punching somebody with cement, that's just unfair. But I don't know, B, what you think?
I think that you can suspect everyone at this level is doing something. Just because, and you hit the nail right on the head. Just because someone doesn't get caught doesn't mean they're not doing it. But like you said, all you got to do is pass the test. If you're passing the test, it's all that matters. It's all that matters. So that's why I stay pretty agnostic on this PED issue. You know, I'm like, if as long as these guys are passing the tests, and that's all they have to do. You
Right.
know,
But it's just the fact, when somebody comes up dirty, it don't matter what it is. That's always going to be like a blemish.
well,
Even in their history of wins, it's like a blemish. So, because
yeah,
everybody always scratch their head
Well,
and say that
did you,
might be
Brian?
suspect.
Brian, did you know this? Floyd Mayweather was considered of that too.
well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you're only giving guys 6 months suspension when they pop dirty, then is that really a deterrent for someone to not take PEDs? Is someone going to say, hey, oh shit, I'm going to get suspended for 6 months. I'm not going to take this, these
No,
PEDs.
but was that right though? Didn't Floyd get caught with PEDs?
No, he never got caught with PEDs. What happened was they do what's called a testosterone to epitestosterone ratio, and his what he would do was what he was accused of doing was he would manipulate the ratio. In other words, so his epitestosterone would be higher. So the ratio, because it can't be more than a 4-to-1. So he would manipulate it, and he would actually.
So he was taking the drug.
Well, they can't prove it because when the Nevada tests you, as long as they do what's called a carbon isotope test, okay, and like I said, it's a 4-to-1 ratio. So as long you could have your testosterone at a high level, but if your epitestosterone is high as well, then it's not gonna go against the 4-to-1 ratio. In other words, so because his epitestosterone levels were abnormally high, and because of that, he was able to pass the test due to the ratio. But it looked kind of suspicious because why would your epitestosterone be so high? In other words, so that's why people that looked at that were skeptical of him. And then the whole xylocaine thing, or whatever the friggin' shit he was shooting at his hands, that was a brought up a red flag. And then the IV and all this stuff. So at this level, I think it's fair to suspect everyone.
Right. My buddy, he always say the whole boxing game juiced up. He said that's why I don't want my son to box. Because you think about it, I know you might be like, you don't give a fuck, but then if it's your kid, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's getting in that ring, okay, he trying to play fair, but then what if your opponent's not? You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like a safety issue. You got to think about it, But I'm not trying to say I suspect Evander was doing that through his whole career, but I'm just saying people do point stuff like that out, and they say it's suspicious.
Yeah, there's some red flags. There's some red flags on Mayweather. Definitely. The whole IV thing was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Thomas Hauser wrote an article about the 2-testosterone. Let me see if I can find it in this article. He said this was something that Thomas Hauser wrote, and here's some key points. He said 18 days after Pacquiao Mayweather, USADA granted Mayweather a retroactive therapeutic use exemption for a procedure that's on the WADA prohibited substance and methods lists. So that's one red flag. The 2-testosterone to epitestosterone ratio test results that we have for Mayweather, both which posted with the article, raise a host of unanswered questions. So let me see there. So this is interesting here. So they let me just read this if I can find it. Okay. So what they're accusing him of is artificially increasing his epitestosterone levels. That's what they're accusing him of. I'm trying to see if I can find the actual ratio, the amounts of each substance that was in his body when he took these tests. It's kind of funny because they say that USADA is kind of shady. They're not as strict as VADA. You know. Let me see if I can find the whole. But it's pretty interesting though. If you look back and there's a lot of even Evander Holyfield. They were saying that when he had that clenbuterol, not clenbuterol, the growth hormone. I'm sorry, they had the growth hormone delivered to his house, but it said Ewin something. He changed his name, but it went to his house, so he's trying to like hide his name. Evan Fields, yeah. He got the growth hormone sent to his house. Yeah, so there's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit, man. I can't find. I'm trying to find that whole thing with the epitestosterone thing, but well, and then Hauser was saying that all this stuff gets swept under the rug. The issue is USADA's handling of the PD testing in relation to Floyd Mayweather and other fighters. People were entitled to defend USADA and Floyd if they want, but the fact that they aren't specifically intelligent rebutting the points made in the article to speak to the accuracy. So USADA it was just like when the whole John Jones thing, when what was that drug, the Turinabol? But then when Frank Mir tested positive for the Turinabol, he got suspended, but John Jones didn't. So it's just very. It's almost like this. If a fighter's too big to fail, or if a fight is too big to fail, they're going to find a workaround to get the fight and that fighter fighting. Right. So it doesn't matter.
Just like the weird shit what happened with the whole Tyson Fury thing. Like, I guess that's all said and done with, with the board meet and all that.
Yeah, but Tyson Fury did the suspension already, so might as well just let that go. Mr. Marcus Collins asks me, he said, B, would you agree that Usyk and Loma are the biggest hype jobs at the moment? Well, let me say this about Usyk. I think Usyk is being hyped up a little too much because he hasn't even fought one fight he fought one fight at heavyweight. And he looked okay. He didn't look spectacular. I think he looked okay. He didn't look great. He looked okay. He looked okay. But I think Usyk may be hyped up a little bit too much at heavyweight. Loma, I think is on the downside. I think he's starting to show some signs of wear and tear. I thought in the Linares fight, I thought in the Luke Campbell fight, saw some chinks in the armor. He still won the fights. Don't get me wrong, but we saw some chinks in the armor. I actually think that Teofimo Lopez will beat Lomachenko. So. Yeah, I think Usyk's being hyped up a little bit too much at heavyweight, yes. And Loma, I think, is being favored too highly over Teofimo. I think Teofimo's going to beat him. I think Teofimo's going to knock him out.
I agree.
So yeah, there's some validity to that point. Yeah, I think you could argue that they are being hyped up a little bit too much.
Steve, can I speak on Lomachenko real quick?
Sure, I know you because you love Lomachenko.
Yeah, I do. Number one, the reason why you guys think he's overhyped. I keep saying this argument over and over again. Number one, he's one of the first fighters to come in. If you follow a boxer's career on BoxRec, it's usually 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. Lomachenko went from a 10-round fight, his first fight, and against Orlando Salido was a 12-round fight. His second fight, that's the fight he lost. and then he beat Gary Russell Jr., who's 24-0-0. No, Lomachenko is not overrated. I think he is going to be TOFO, and I think I think he's one of the best boxers we're going to see in our lifetime.
I know one thing, Lomachenko, but see, the thing with him is he got a gang of amateur fights. How many amateur fights do we got, B? How many? I couldn't even hear you.
Would you ask Jesse?
I didn't ask something. Kelly King did.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. I was asking how many fights did Lomachenko have in his amateur career?
Oh, something like close to 400.
Okay, so Jesse, 400 amateur fights. You don't think he overdid it a little bit? Because, I mean, if you got 400 amateur fights, I would hope you could handle yourself in a 12-round fight. And, I mean, at least a 10-rounder, I meant, in your first pro fight.
That's not my point. That's not my point. People ask if
he's on a different, but you gotta look at that, though, because his career path is different. If he has 400 amateur fights.
Of course, but the question is he overrated? I don't think so.
What are you rating him to what?
Let me just jump in real quick. I'm going to bring up 2 points. Sometimes when you're like the whole 400 fight amateur career and him turning pro so late, and he's doing great as a pro, don't get me wrong. But you have to ask the question of what, like, I think this is what Brian was trying to make the point of, and I don't want to put words on his mouth. So if I'm wrong on this, Brian, feel free to correct me. I think Brian's asking, and I think it's a fair question, and I raise this question as well. Why would you have to stay in the amateurs so long, okay, and wait so long to turn pro? Like, was there any apprehension that maybe you weren't ready to turn pro and you had to stay in the amateurs that long? In other words, and essentially, when you by you staying in the amateurs that long, you were way overqualified against probably a lot of those opponents you were fighting. You can't. It's almost like he slow played his career, and now everyone's like, oh, he only had 6 or how many, however many would he have, like 11 or 12 fights now, and he's done so much. Yeah, but
look at who he beat. He beat Rigondeaux.
So basically, you're sitting there saying,
Way bully.
Yeah, well, you're sitting there saying that, look how much this guy's done. But that was because he stayed so long in the amateurs. He probably should have came out way earlier than he did. It wasn't like, he wasn't really the prototypical amateur fighter. He was essentially a pro fighting in the amateurs, just like a lot of those Cubans were when they were when the Cubans were always beating up on the Americans. Yeah, because they stayed, because certain systems allow fighters, or they just have fighters that stay in the amateurs way longer than everyone else. So, like I said, not to belabor the point, but these guys are essentially pros fighting as amateurs, right, Bri?
Right.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think Lomachenko is a good fighter, but when you say someone's overrated, that doesn't mean that you're saying that they're not good. If someone's a great fighter, and then you say that, oh, well, this guy's elite, or this guy's an all-time great, then you're overrating him. That doesn't mean, like, people put a negative connotation on the word overrate, and they conflate the word with, or the sentence, I should say, or the phrase. They conflate it with you saying that you mean the guy's not good. No one's saying Lomachenko's not a great fighter, but maybe he may not be as great as what people say he is. That's the thing. Like, in other words, if I have a 3.8 grade point average, right? And I go around telling everyone, oh, I have a 4.0. I'm overrating myself. But a 3.8 is a damn good grade point average, right? If I go on a job interview and I say that, I managed a $10 million company, but I really only managed a $3 million company, that's a great accomplishment managing a $3 million company. But it's a far cry from a $10 million company. So when you say someone's overrated, it's not the same as saying that they're not good or even great. So I think that's the misconception people have when they hear the word overrate. Go ahead, Jess.
I hear your point, and my point is, when people hear Lomachenko, they say, "Oh, it's a white boy getting overrated." No, what had happened was he has this amateur career, and he negotiated himself in there, and he goes, "Listen, I'm not going to be one of those 4-round boxers." So it's not the great white hype that you guys all. It's not the conspiracy theory that everybody thinks. That's what I'm saying. It's a person who boxed his ass off, who just said, "Let me start boxing 10." And on his third fight, beats Gary Russell Jr., who was 24-0-0 and a champion.
That was a very great win. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was probably his most impressive win. But outside of that, I thought he's had a lot of good wins. But to me, that was his standout victory. Because I love Gary Russell. I think Gary Russell's a phenomenal fighter. But I'd love to see that rematch. I don't think it goes the same. I think it'd be a much more... And people forget that was a split decision victory for Lomachenko. I thought he clearly won the fight, but it was a split decision. And here's another thing too, right? People want to sweep that Salido loss under the rug. Oh, well, Salido was overweight. Salido roughed him up. Salido cheated, blah, 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 blah. But going into that fight, Lomachenko was like a 3-1. In some circles, he was a 4-1 favorite over Salido. It was an afterthought that it was a foregone conclusion that Lomachenko was supposed to win that fight.
Well,
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love how he came back, and even in that 12th round, he hurt Salido. Looked like he had him going. If that was a 15-round fight, you can argue he may have even stopped Salido. But it wasn't a 15-round fight, and he ran out of time. He had a great 12th round, and he came back and he showed the heart of a champion. Showed that he had the intestinal fortitude and the cojones to dig down deep when he had to. But the problem is, on paper, he was 10 levels above Salido. He's not supposed to lose to Salido. He's not supposed to get frustrated by Salido that roughed him up and did what he did. It wasn't supposed to happen. And the fact that he never went into a rematch with them, that says something as well. That says something as well. Like, maybe I don't want to fuck with this style anymore. Because when Roberto Duran did that to Sugar Ray Leonard, and Sugar Ray Leonard fought Roberto Duran's fight, what did Sugar Ray Leonard say right after? Let's run this back. And we saw what happened in the rematch. He got vindication. It bothers me that Lomachenko never avenged that loss. Now, you could say, oh, he probably would have won the rematch, but he didn't fight him. And I think that's gonna hang over his head. I think whether that's fair or not, I just think that it raises questions, and it's still gonna be there, at least in my mind. Maybe Lomachenko fans will forget about it. I'm not gonna forget about it.
I don't think Salido wins the rematch. On top of that,
not now he doesn't. But would he have won it 5 years ago?
Well, Salido's a very dangerous fighter. He beat one of my favorite fighters. He beat Juanma Lopez. He fought Fernando Vargas into a draw. Fernando Vargas is his name. He fought him into a draw, which was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Is it Fernando Vargas? Am I saying the name right?
Francisco Vargas, actually.
Francisco. Okay, I'm sorry. Francisco Vargas, he fought that into a draw. Salido is one of my favorite fighters of all time. So, not one of my favorites, but he upsets my favorites. When he knocked out Wanma, that was crazy. But I mean, a loss to him doesn't take away from you. Well, my thing with Loma is what I keep saying. Usually in a boxing career, you go from 4 rounds to 6 rounds to 8 rounds to 10 rounds, 12 rounds. Loma was like, no, that's not what my contract's going to do. I want a championship fight on my second fight, and that's so. I mean, and his boxing skill levels on a different pedigree.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Here's another question. And Brian, you can feel free to chime in on this.
Okay.
Is it fair to give someone a title shot after 2 fights? What has that guy done?
That's what I'm saying. But
what
he
did that guy
negotiated.
do? What did that guy do to earn that title shot?
But he negotiated it. He negotiated it.
No, he did. You don't negotiate a title shot. You have to be ranked. So obviously his promoter had some influence on that, right?
No, but that was part of his negotiations.
No, it's part of his fucking promotional ties. It's part of his promotional ties.
They trying to fast track him. They trying to fast track him. Saying.
And and again, I'm not hating on the fact that he got fast tracked, but let's be objective about it. Okay, the guy had 1 fight. How does that justify him? Let's take the politics away from it. Let's take all the friggin' smoke and mirrors away from it, and let's just look at it on the surface. How often does a fighter fight 1 fight and get allowed to fight a title shot in his very next fight? How often does that happen?
That was in his contract. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What do you mean it was in his contract? It has nothing. A promoter can't give a fighter a contract that guarantees him a title shot in his second fight because the sanctioning bodies would have to sanction it. A promoter can't supersede what the sanctioning body wants to do. If the sanctioning, now he may have put it in the contract. He may have talked. Bob Arum, again, this is a guy that was that bribes the IBF to get his fighters ranked, he was found guilty of it.
Oh,
okay. So
you just said that interviewing Bob Arum to him, man. Wow.
I mean, when I'm on the phone with him, we don't talk about that, but we talk about other shit. But we got to be real about it. So don't put it past Bob Arum to use his influence to get his fighters ranked or get him into a title shot. How does a guy fight 1 pro fight and even get ranked in a sanctioning body? How does that happen? So, we gotta be honest. We gotta be honest. How does that happen? Is that in the real world? Is that right? Let me ask you a question. You walk into your job, right? And you don't really have a lot of experience. You got to start at the bottom. Most people start at the bottom when they first start out at their job if they don't have a lot of experience, right? So what if the daughter of the company, right, walks in there and automatically she's the assistant to the CEO?
Well, that's what happened.
She has no experience. That's the same. That would be equivalent to what Lomachenko did.
I strongly disagree with you.
And he lost his first title shot against fucking Salido. And what happens? Wait a minute. What happens in this third fight? How do you lose? You lose a title fight. Think about it. You lose a title fight, and then automatically you become the mandatory after losing a title fight.
You just said Gary Russell was a great fighter, right?
He is.
Don't you?
I think he's a very good fighter. But
So
how does Lomachenko?
Hold on.
How does Lomachenko get 2 title shots in a row? And he lost the first one, and then he gets another one.
But I'm saying
then he gets another one right after that. You can't defend that. That is called boxing politics. Can we admit that?
Right.
Can we admit that? Yes or
No,
no?
I would not. No, I would not.
Then you know what? Then you know what that's called cognitive dissonance on your part.
I don't know what that means, but whatever.
You know what that means? That means that when you're shown clear evidence about something and you still deny it, then you're basically that's cognitive dissonance.
No, because I follow.
If you tell me the sky's not blue, and then I grab your face and I take your head and I tilt it up to the sky, and you're looking at a blue sky, and you just sit there and tell me that's not blue. It's really not blue, Beeb. It's actually turquoise. It's light blue. Then that's cognitive dissonance. You're in denial.
That's not the case.
You're in denial. The guy fought in the title shot in the second fight, lost. Then the third fight, he gets another title shot.
Oh, do you want me to bring up the fact that he got robbed on top of that?
How did he get robbed?
Wow.
Orlando cheated all the way, and we know this. Orlando did low blows. He did whatever he can. Whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but who was the house fighter though? Who was the house fighter in that situation? Wasn't it Lomachenko?
Yeah.
So that's okay.
So
look, all I'm saying is Lomachenko beat Rigondeaux, who was considered unbeatable. He beat Gary Russell 24-0-0, and I'm just saying he was a golden boy. He got the gold medal, and that's why. And we're mad at him because he negotiated a great contract.
I'm not mad at him. I'm just calling it for what it is.
All right, I'm done.
Calling it for what it is.
I'm done on the matter.
You can't, but you're not making a strong enough argument to defend your defend your points.
So if you think I'm wrong, you think I'm wrong, but I'm really not, though.
So you think it's okay to get a title shot in your second fight without let's look at the guy he fought.
That was in his contract. That was in his contract.
No, it wasn't in his contract.
Yes, it was, bro.
Again,
look it up.
Again. You can't guarantee someone a title shot if the sanctioning bodies do not sanction the fight.
So how come most boxers go from 4
can
to
I
6
sign
to 8?
Can I sign a contract with Bob Arum tomorrow that guarantees me a title shot in my second fight? Answer the question. Can I sign it? If Bob Arum gave me a contract, right?
No, probably not.
Why? I said no. Why is that though? Explain to me why that can't happen.
Because you're not a gold champion.
No. You know why? Because the sanctioning body would have to rank me in the top 10. A sanctioning body would have to rank me in the top 10 and allow me to fight for that title.
I'm even thinking about what about the mandatories that was really into that position that had to get moved out the way?
The reason why he was allowed to do that is because Bob Arum and Frank Warren have a lot of stroke with the WBO. Certain sanctions, just like the PBC has a lot of influence on the WBC, which allowed Deontay Wilder to not have to fight a mandatory for 2.5 years, right? We can't sit here and pretend this ain't about politics, fellas. We can't sit here and pretend that. Let's look at the guy Lomachenko fought in his first fight. I can't even remember his name. That just tells you how fucking great, how good the fighter was. I'm trying. Maybe I pull this guy up because I forgot who he fought in his first fight. Maybe I'm ignorant. I apologize, but I can't remember who he fought in his first fight. Let me see who his first fight was. Okay. Okay. He fought Jose Ramirez, who was 25-3. Okay? In his first fight. Okay? And that was actually, I apologize. No. Yeah, he fought Jose Ramirez, and this was for the World Boxing Organization International Feather title. So they even in his first fight, they even gave him a regional title in his first fight. How does that even happen?
Right.
They gave him a regional title. And let's look at Jose Ramirez, because he's 28-8 right now. Okay, he's still in the featherweight division. He never moved up. Okay, and let me see. So Lomachenko fought him. Okay, and this guy Ramirez lost to Oscar Valdez in 2015. Okay, then he lost to Abner Mares in 2014. Right. So he's coming off of 2 losses in a row. Then he fights Vasily Lomachenko in his pro debut for a regional WBO title. And that off of that warrants a title shot for Vasily Lomachenko? The guy had 2 losses in a row, and then Lomachenko beats him. Okay? Lomachenko beats him, and automatically
he gets a shot.
And he gets a title shot after that, beating a guy that's coming off of 2 losses. If that is not boxing politics, then you got to tell me what the fuck is. And then the guy loses in his first title shot to Orlando Salido. And then automatically the sanctioning body ranks him number 1 after the loss. And Gary Russell's number 2. And then they fight for the vacant title. How the fuck does that happen? How does that happen? And I apologize. It was a majority decision. The fight that when he fought Gary Russell Jr. Two cards, two scoring cards had it 116 and 112, and the other one was a draw. It wasn't a split decision. I apologize. It was a majority decision. I forgot. So let's just call it the way it is. Of course, it's politics. Of course, it's politics.
Right.
Now let's see.
Bob Arum had plans for him before he even turned professional, because he knew he could pull them strings, especially considering the amount of amateur experience he had coming into the game. You got to fast track him. And not to mention, what was his age when he on his first pro fight? How old was he?
So he turned pro. He's 32 now. He turned pro in 2013. So 7 years. He was 20. Guys, he was 29 years old.
Yo, guys, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you guys take over, bro.
All right.
Yo, Beeb, I love you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Peace out.
All right, bro.
So he was 29. He turned pro at 29 years old, when everyone else turns pro at 21, 22.
Right.
So let's call it for what it is, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Which is smart. It's not like we're saying that he's not a good fighter. He's definitely a good fighter. He got hands. It's just, when you putting him on a scale, because Bob Arum said himself, this is the next Muhammad Ali. Am I right or am I wrong? Didn't Bob Arum say that one time?
Yeah. He's saying
so that's what people compare it to.
So if someone's a great fighter, which Lomachenko is, he's a great fighter. Without question, Lomachenko is a great fighter. I'm not going to dispute that. But then when you got someone saying, okay, because he's a great fighter, but then when you got someone saying that he's arguably the greatest fighter of all time, then you're overrating him. That's overrating somebody.
Right.
You got to be honest.
That's it. Just that simple.
And then he beats. And then when he fought, then when he got the that was for the featherweight title. And then when he fought Rocky Martinez for the super featherweight title. It's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
So
because eventually he was going to get to a point. He's going to get to a point, when he gets older and he's going to be on a downslide. And They just got to get as much off of him as quick as possible.
I'll tell you
know?
the impressive victories. I'll tell you the impressive victories. Okay. The Nicholas Walters one was a very impressive victory. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
He made him quit. That was a great victory. And then
Right.
the fight over Gary Russell was a very good victory.
Russell, yeah.
But
Riggin Dial.
other than that, I mean, nothing really stands out. You know, Linares he's been on the downside for a while. Rigondeaux, how old was Rigondeaux? Rigondeaux was old. He was too small. And again,
he was too small. Yeah.
I never was one of those guys that said Rigondeaux could beat him. You can go back to my videos. I never picked Rigondeaux to beat him.
Me neither. Because
I thought
he
was
had to
too
move
small.
up.
And then Tank Davis knocks out Pedraza in like 6 or 7 rounds, and then he goes 12 rounds with Lomachenko.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Luke Campbell went 12 rounds with him. Linares knocks him down. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been struggling a little lately. That's for sure.
So I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and say that this guy's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Is he a great fighter? Yeah. But it is possible that he's overrated. And I think when, you know, we're going to find out when Teofimo Lopez beats him, I want to see what all these Lomachenko fans say.
I'm with it. I agree with that. Because I've
Question
been saying, you know, a lot of people don't believe Teofimo can do it, you know, because of the experience and the skill of Lomachenko. But, you know, with Teofimo, people got to realize he definitely got that punch. So that gives him a puncher's chance. And Teofimo was pretty skilled himself, you know.
Listen, what he did to Richard Comey in his last fight, I ain't never seen anyone do that to Richard Comey is a solid fighter. No one blows Richard Comey out in 2 rounds. I actually thought Comey was going to win that fight. I thought he had a great chance to win that fight. And Lomachenko,
if I would have put money on it, I would have put it on Comey.
And Lomachenko, not Lomachenko, I'm sorry. Teofimo Lopez blew him out of the water.
Right. Destroyed
him out of the water.
Destroyed him.
So it is what it is. So let's finish this up, man. So Tyson versus Holyfield. I think it's getting a lot of traction. I think a lot of people are talking about it. And Tyson's saying he's going to donate all the money to charity. I don't know what Holyfield's going to do with the money, but I'm telling you, man, right now this would be the perfect time for it because there's not a lot of boxing going on. People are excited just to see anything right now at this point, right? So
right.
Tyson's a legend.
How is people feeling about it in the chat? How people feel about the Tyson and Holyfield in the chat?
Everyone's sitting there saying that no one's interested in this. It's a joke, blah, 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 blah. but all these guys will be finding a way to watch it, whether they stream it or whether they end up breaking down and buying it. Everyone that's saying this is going to be a joke of a fight. I mean, this is Mike Tyson. Okay.
Right.
People would pay to see Mike Tyson take a shit. You know what I'm saying? This is Mike Tyson.
Right. Because they still have fan bases that, you know, these guys still around. And, you know, the whole thing is we don't know what'll happen with these dudes being this age getting in there. That's really what I'm curious about more than anything. You know,
Mike Tyson, I'll pay. You could put Mike Tyson. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that he's the same as these guys in terms of what they've done in their lives. He doesn't have the same stat. Well, he doesn't have the same, how would I put this? He may not have had the same impact on the world that these other athletes have had, but he is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of sports. Like he belongs, like Muhammad Ali can go, when he was alive, could go anywhere in the world and everyone would recognize him. Tiger Woods could go anywhere in the world, everyone would recognize him. Michael Jordan could go anywhere in the world and everyone would recognize him. Well, guess what?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's on that is in the same as on that same level.
Yeah.
He's on that same level.
Yeah.
So just
I remember those days. Big star, big time star.
So just based off of Mike Tyson's name recognition alone, this would be a great fight. This would be a great fight in terms of not great fight like the way it plays out, but this would be a great event, I should say. I take that back. This would be a great event based on the attention I think it would get. So if it like I said, I'm not really nervous for Mike Tyson if he passes the physical and if he fights guys like Holyfield. I'm a little bit more concerned about Holyfield being 57. And, Holyfield, when you listen to him talk a little bit, he seems like he's slowing down a little bit, but maybe that's just how he always is. I don't know. But I'd be a little bit more worried about Holyfield because he has more miles on the tank. He stayed in the game a lot longer than Tyson, and he probably took more punishment than Mike Tyson. He's been in tougher fights. So I think Evander Holyfield at 57 has more miles on the odometer, and I'd be more concerned about that more so than Mike Tyson. So I'd be more afraid for Evander Holyfield than I would be for Mike Tyson. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
But that's all I got for now, Brian.
Right.
Anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
Hey, that's all, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man.
Thanks for
No
having
problem.
me on.
I'll talk to you, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Take it easy.
Thanks, everybody in the chat. Take care. Peace out.